What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and of course, we are back here for another one. It is the preview show for the Dolphins at Bills this Sunday at Highmark Stadium. We're also going to talk about the fact that it's been reported today DeVante Parker is officially on the block, and DeVante Parker is being shot. But if you've been following me for quite some time, then that should not be news to you. But now it's public, so we'll go over that. Um, Obviously, we'll do our usual keys to victory. We'll look at the matchup to watch, which might actually surprise you when you consider it. Right. So we'll go ahead. We'll take a look at that. And then, yeah, if you listened to the show yesterday, you've already heard what my prediction is, but we'll go over it once more for those who may not have watched yesterday's show. If you haven't, make sure you go check it out. It's me, Ball Game, and Richmond Webb for the official 50th episode of The Finish Line. Go check it out. Anyways, and something up here. Yeah, we're gonna get into everything, and I'm actually probably gonna start. Um, I'm actually probably gonna start against. Um, I'm gonna start talking talking about Brian Flores, and everything, that's transpired today because if you were on Twitter, if you were ever and you read the quotes from people, they made it sound like Brian Flores 110% committed to Tua Tagovailoa today. But if you listen to the actual clip, it's like, you know what I mean? It's very, I don't know. So we'll get into that. We'll look at what Brian Flores said. You even see that's I keep it objective. I mean, um, this is I keep it objective. People want to use Brian Flores when he says something that fits their narrative, but then they want to ignore stuff that doesn't fit their narrative. Well, you would think what he said today was something I could use that would fit the narrative, but if you look at the body language, you look at the vagueness, if you look at everything, I mean, good on Cameron Wolf for putting his ass to the flames a little bit, but the problem was Alain Poupar, who's been on the show and who I have an okay relationship with. He's always been nice to me. Kind of gave Flores an out unintentionally, and Flores took it. So you know what? Let's start off. Let's cue up that clip, and then we'll cue up the clip quickly, and we'll discuss. All right. And I'll give you guys my thoughts on what I think about the whole situation. But first, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new. If you'd like to donate, paypal.me/Finside, become a Finside the NFL Patreon, patreon.com/Finside the NFL. Shout out to all the patrons and the members. Hit the join button to become a YouTube member. Since next week, just a quick update. Since next week, I'm going to down to Florida. I'll be flying out on Monday. So I don't know when, I don't know how I'm gonna do the post game show. I'm gonna try and figure something out, but the Jalen Phillips thing is just gonna drop for you guys next week because I'll be out of town. It'll give me a day of content to release you guys, so it'll go out to the members and the channel members and the patrons first. Then it'll come out to you guys, but I'm just gonna drop it next week because I have to check my schedule and see how everything's because we got obviously things planned. So the film breakdown with Martin and ball game, I'm gonna have to figure out what day we do that. I will do like a preview show. I just don't know if it's gonna be the Friday or the Saturday yet. And then for the game, there'll obviously be no live reaction for the Texans game because I will actually be there. So, and then I'll figure it out the rest of the way, but I'll keep you guys updated. But the next week and a half, 2 weeks on this channel are going to be kind of spotty and not, you know, as strict of a schedule over the next couple of weeks because I will be going live from Orlando. I just got to figure everything out in terms of when. So, just a quick update to all you guys. All right. So let's get into this. And also, patchvibes.com. Use code FINSIDE to save 20% off your order. Backroomcollection.net. Use code REASON to save 10% off your order. ThriveFantasy.com. Use code FINSIDE to have every dollar up to your first $100 deposited and matched by Thrive Fantasy. So you deposit 50, they'll match it and deposit 50, another 50, all the way up to 100 for you. ThriveFantasy.com, the number one fantasy site in prop sports betting. All right, let's go into this. Let's start off with Brian Flores. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the whole situation, and we will go from there. Okay. So obviously he had his media day today. I'm just playing a clip of it. This is, about Deshaun Watson. So here we go.
The college reports for him. We heard Kyle Shanahan say there wasn't a Garoppolo trade in the future. Why wouldn't you come out with the Deshaun Watson rumors and just say, hey, that's not true if that's the case?
Cam
I
Wolf.
think I've said this multiple times. Tua is our quarterback. I don't get into rumors. I don't get into speculation. Tua is our quarterback.
I understand that. I guess the question, like last October, I remember being here, and Xavier was the topic, the rumor of the time, and the team put out a statement saying we're not interested in any Xavier trades. I'm curious why this time is different.
I wouldn't say it's different. I would say I've answered that question
Brian.
by saying Tua is our quarterback.
The heat is on.
And I'm not getting into speculation. I'm not getting into rumors.
So you're saying the same thing, just a different way now, Brian.
Rumor, speculation, distractions. I'm focused on our team, focused on our quarterback, and that's Tua.
Can you declare definitively that he's the quarterback for the rest of 2021?
Definitively that he's the quarterback, barring no, there's a lot of things that barring injury, yeah.
Oh, you gave him the cop out. You gave him the cop out.
Distractions. I'm curious. Obviously, we have different perspectives on the idea of a distraction. Do you view?
He gave him the cop out. I want everyone. We're gonna bring it back here. It's a good initial question by Elaine, but then if you listen closely, you hear the cop out.
There's a lot of things that.
Watch. Let's go back.
2021.
Okay, so he asked the right question.
Can you declare definitively that he's the quarterback for the rest of 2021?
Bro, can you declare that he's the quarterback definitively for the rest of 2021? First, you got the awkward pause, Brian. Now you're going to re-ask the question that was just asked to you because in the back of your mind, you're trying to think of how do I answer this question? Yo, bro, come on. If you were sold, oh my God.
Definitively that he's the quarterback, barring no, there's a lot of things that. Yeah.
And then you just hear him, barring injury. You heard that in the background. He said barring no, and he's stumbling on his words. He doesn't know what to say. And then the media gives him the cop out.
Yeah, barring injury, yeah.
And then the media gives him the cop out.
Concept of distractions. I'm curious. Obviously, we have different perspectives on the idea of a distraction. Do you view not talking about it as a better way to deal with it versus addressing it head on?
Not talking about it. So when I say Tua is our quarterback, is that not talking about it?
Well, I guess the actual trade rumor, like there's been reports that you guys had agreed to terms on a deal, right?
Again, I don't get into reports or rumors or speculation. I'm focused on our team and the guys in our locker room.
It's so painful to watch this train wreck.
Get outside of that, that's not where my focus is. My focus is on our players. I'm interested in our players. I'm talking about.
Listen, uh, uh, it's just handled so terribly. It's so bad. First of all, I don't even like watching these things anymore because I don't need to be lied to for 15 to 20 minutes straight for a period of a day in my life. I just don't need that in my life. I don't need that toxicity, all right? Listen, you got the awkward pauses. You got this is like standard stuff. The awkward pause in terms of someone not telling you the full story, beating around the bush, being vague. You got the awkward pause. He's re-asking. He's basically re-asking. Well, sorry. He's putting what you asked into a statement, literally word for word. He's just saying it with a tone that makes it sound like a statement instead of a question back to you. Like, and then barring no, and then he gets for a loss of words. Why do you think a guy who's so articulate all of a sudden gets a loss for words? Why do you think that is? This guy is not committed. People are trying to paint this picture that Brian Flores is committed to Tua Tagovailoa as the quarterback one for the rest of the season. That does not sound like a man committed to anyone for the rest of the season right there. I'm sorry, man. And I could use this to spin my narrative, like how all these people, they want to take what people say out of context. Okay. Like they don't want to read between the lines. They just want to be very black and white face value instead of reading between the lines of what they're saying, because the black and white aspect of it fits their narrative instead of the actual reading between the lines, just the context of the situation. I could use this face value, black and white, and say, look, he said he's definitively, he said, he's going to be definitively the quarterback for 2021. But when you listen to the tone, when you listen to how the conversation is coming off, he's not reassuring you jack bo diddly. Okay. Period. So don't sell me. I don't know what people are doing in the media, and don't sell me this. It's the same old vague answers, and it's just now he's taking your questions that you're asking them and spinning them into literally word for word a statement just by using the tone, just by changing the tone up of how it's stated. Like, give me a break, okay? This does not scream, I endorse my quarterback. This does not scream that. It's continuing, like, it's continued. Do you know what Cam Wolf just asked him? I want people to actually sit back and realize what Cam Wolf literally just asked him when he said, "This guys, who's been saying that about the Omar Kelly thing with how they handled the Xavier Howard trade rumors last year? I've been saying that the whole time. Like, why are they making that statement and lying to us when Joe Shad and Barry Jackson come out and disproved everything they said when they put out a statement trying to bury Omar's credibility? And now I'm just saying, like, you went after someone's credibility over Xavier Howard. You weren't willing to step up and lie to us over Tua. And what's wrong with lying to us? Well, I'm not saying we obviously know what's wrong with them lying to us, but I'm saying from their standpoint, if they come out and say Tua Tagovailoa is our quarterback, we are moving forward with Tua Tagovailoa, doesn't that give them more leverage in the Houston thing? Because from what we understand, the Dolphins are bidding against themselves. If they say publicly, we're taking ourselves out, the Texans may come desperate and come down to well below market value to get rid of them. So are they really even shooting themselves in the foot? People try to say, oh, well, they can't say that because then that would, take them out. No, that wouldn't. The Texans would still do their rounds before the Tuesday deadline hits. It would actually do you better to say we're moving forward with Tua Tagovailoa because it gives you more leverage. Because now you're saying, hey, we're going to go forward unless you come down to our price. At least that's it's and in the meantime, the way they're handling this too is diminishing Tua's trade value. At the same time, they're diminishing Tua's trade value, and they're killing their relationship with the quarterback too. So if they don't get Tua, what are they left? What are they left with? What are they left with? Empty wishes in one hand and fill the hand with whatever you want. Other hand with whatever you want. Josh Williams, $4.99. His polygraph there probably looked like the EKG of a crackhead. Yeah, yo, he looked. Brian Flores looked like he woke up and he didn't realize the media was choosing some violence today. Because Cam Wolfe is no longer a local guy. Now he's with NFL Network. So he's a national guy. He's no longer a local guy. They can't punish someone from NFL Network. They can punish you if you're at the Miami Herald or the Sun Sentinel. Cap for life, $5. Controversy creates cash. I always support this channel because this channel gives us more than the product on the field. I suggest you do the same. Appreciate you, Cap. Even if you're wilding out with some of your takes. I still love you, bro. It's all good. I know you always try to bring people together and shit like that. You're just fed up. I like what's crazy to me is people say like, reason why aren't you fed up? Why like in terms of a lot of people are blowing their lids and losing their minds over losing. I'm looking at like how the coaching's doing, how players aren't being developed and they're regressing. Like Van Ginkel looks like he's regressed. Jackson's regressed. You know what I mean? Kinley's clearly regressed. Eichenberg looks like we kind of saw that coming a little bit away. I'm looking at all these different things and I'm not really even sitting back and thinking about losing. And it's because I know what my record prediction was on the preseason roundtable, but you also have to remember in the back of my mind, in the back of everyone's heads, I was the little voice saying, "What if this isn't on Tua? This is on the O line and the coaching, and if that doesn't come together." Watch how quickly people are going to turn on Flores. Now, I think it would happen after 7 games into the season? Hell no. I thought maybe we were talking about like week 13, week 14. Cool. That was more realistic. I didn't know the wheels would fall off this bad, this quick. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone expected us to be losing to teams like Jacksonville and Atlanta, but it's bigger than one player right now. That's why we're losing to these bad teams. That's why we're losing to these bad teams. Because, Tuba's made some critical errors, but he's one of the few guys continuously busting his hump for Brian Flores. I mean, we talk about that week 17 loss last year to Buffalo, ironically enough, and when we got blown out, and I've consistently said, and Tua's included in this group. No one showed up to that game. The only person who got off the bus to play football in week 17 last year against Buffalo was Andrew Van Ginkel. And now we can't even depend on an Andrew Van Ginkel. Cap for life. I endorse the logo. Hey, bro, Cap for life. You want to hear my stance? I told DM this. I've actually said this publicly. I don't even know if you've heard this. Bro, I understand what comes with the new GM. I want the whole front office, the scouting department, everything cleansed. I want new scouting philosophies. I want new fundamental beliefs. I want a new culture in that front office. I want everyone who's been here from the Tannenbaum regime, the Greer regime, whatever regime over the last 20 years. I want you all gone. I want you out. I want you out. And I want a new GM put in place, like an Ed Dodds. You know what I mean? If you got to back the Brinks truck up to Ozzie Newsome, whatever. But I want the right GM put into place. And Brian Flores and Tua, if their fate is in that GM's hands, that's fine with me. I just want this going in the right direction. I need to see a championship before I die. Now, if you were to ask me, who do I think could lead us to a championship first, Brian Flores or Tua Tagovailoa, I think Tua Tagovailoa with a better coaching staff as opposed to Brian Flores with, another turnover in personnel. You know what I mean? So I've accepted that. I've accepted that they could, I listen to me what I've said consistently too lately. I understand a new GM's going to come in. He's going to want his own coach. So he'll get rid of Flores. Flores will be a dead man walking. I know a coach and a GM who are attached together will want their own quarterback. And I realize Tua might only have 1 year left because not a lot of people are high on this quarterback draft class, even though there's guys I like in this draft class. You know what I mean? But people are really low on this quarterback draft class. So I could see passing on whatever, giving Tua 1 year, and then them reevaluating and either moving off of Tua and getting a guy in the 2023 draft or dipping their toes into free agency or whatever the case may be. I understand that Tua right now, it could technically be damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, in terms of if he performs, they're gonna stick around and trade for Watson anyways. If the team doesn't perform, but he performs, Flores and Greer will be fired, new regime will be brought in, and Tua might be next on the chopping block. That's where this could be at right now because everything is falling apart. I get that. I get that. I like Ladarius. Sam Howell is my favorite quarterback in this class. I think everything around him is just gone. He has nothing around him right now. He lost his two best receivers, his two running backs. His offensive line's been flipped over at UNC. I like him a lot, man. I like if Jaden Daniels had more beef on his body because he's only like 185. I would love Jaden Daniels too. Malik Willis, I like too. We just got to refine him. And I would not. The thing is, I like Malik Willis and his potential. I would not trust our coaching staff and current regime to do the work that needs to be done to make Malik Willis a successful NFL quarterback. His work needs to be put into him. You know, I don't like Spencer Rattler's attitude. I like Carson. I like Carson Strong. You know, there's a lot of good quarterbacks in this draft class. I think it's being severely underrated. To be completely honest with you. But I get why everyone is so hesitant because there's really no one that's blowing you away right now. Like, let's be honest with ourselves, right? There's really no one that, you know, the guys who we all wanted to take a step forward, they've kind of, you know, been put in bad situations. I mean, a lot of people thought Rattler was going to be that guy, and his attitude has led to him being benched. I mean, that's clear, right? But it's gonna be a good draft. But there are quarterbacks to like in this draft for sure. I think people, you know, everyone loves Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh this year too. He's making a big time leap for everyone. Everyone's falling in love on Kenny Pickett. So, anyways, I just think a turnover needs to happen. So, and it is what it is. I know what the turnover could lead to, but we need new leadership. We need new ideas and we need a new culture. And you just have to turn it over. I think Tua, if you get the right coach, Tua could stay around, but you can't force Tua or any developmental quarterback on anyone. But what's crazy is that we're even having this conversation where if before we drafted Tua, if I was going to tell you over his first 14 games, he would have a 65.7 completion percentage. He would have thrown for 2,649 yards, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and he would have rushed for another 4 touchdowns over his first 14 games. A lot of us would take that. Considering over those first 14 games, 12 of them are really only starts that he played through. 13, you know, one of those was his debut where he only played a couple snaps against the Jets, and the other one was when he only played that handful of snaps before he got hit against Buffalo. So, you know, a lot of people would take that. When you look at Tua's stats right now, almost 2,700 yards, 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio at 18-19 plus 4 rushing touchdowns. People would take that over the first 12 basically full starts and 14 games played. People would take that over Tua. The problem is the Watson narrative right now. Yeah, it's just you know what's crazy is it's just sad that no one might we've gotten to the stage where a cleansing in the front office needs to happen, and because of that, a new GM's going to want his own coach. He's going to want his own guy. They might want their own guy at quarterback too, and or they could say, hey, we like Tua because it could be a West Coast offense or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we can run it with Tua. I don't know. I'm just sitting here saying, in all likelihood, everyone might be out the fucking door. That's all I'm saying, and I get it. I've coped with it. I've come to that, but I want, in an ideal world, things turn around. Brian Flores gets his head of his ass, hires some experienced coaches in the offseason, and he retools his whole coaching staff. And because I think Greer and him did a good job in this year's draft, and then they have another successful draft this year, and Tua continues to develop here. That's the perfect world, but I don't know if we're living in a perfect world anymore, people. I mean, we can hope. Nothing wrong with hoping, but I don't know. All right, and if they don't make this trade for Watson by the deadline, which is crazy, I'll be landing in Orlando on November 1st. The deadline is November 2nd, and then I'll be going to the Texans game, which will be the first game after the deadline. So it'll be interesting to see how things go. If Tua balls out, he may gain the cachet in Stephen Ross's office, where when a new GM is brought in, they're encouraged to continue to develop Tua Tagovailoa. And a new GM, if Tua balls out, a new GM might want to continue the development of Tua Tagovailoa because they may have seen enough. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work. Hell, a new GM might come in and want to keep Flores and Tua for all I know. I don't know. A new GM might want to come in and keep Flores and get rid of Tua. I don't know. But in all likelihood, a new GM is going to want his own coach, and him and his own coach, in all likelihood, might want their own guy in the long run. So it's all up to Tua. Tua just needs to do his part. So let's get into it, and Flores needs to do his part so he doesn't lose his job. So Greer, he might be past the point of no return. Let's get into everything here. All right, so let's start off in the preview. Let's get into Miami. Scotty Joe, Orlando airport sucks, bro. The thing that I love walking out of that airport is the smell. That Floridian smell when it hits my nostrils, brother. It's a beautiful thing. I cannot wait. All right. So, here's your weather report. At kickoff, it's possible light rain. It's possible drizzle through the rest of the game too. It's going to be down to about 47, 48. It's going to feel about 43. It's going to be actually about 93% humidity, but 100% cloud cover and over 52% chance of precipitation from kickoff down to 48 by the fourth quarter. So rain could be in the air, ladies and gentlemen. And why that might matter is because guess what? Rain might ground Josh Allen a little bit. It might make them lean on the run game, although we can't stop the run when it matters. If you know what's coming at you, you have a little bit of an advantage. So, and plus the way we ran the ball last week, if this comes into a rushing, turn this into a rushing game, we'll get into that. But praying for enough rain where we can operate, but it might stunt Josh Allen a little bit. I mean, damn, at this point against the Bills, I'll take anything. I'll take anything. I'll take anything at this point that might give us any kind of competitive advantage over this team because it's painful right now. I don't know what else to say. But that is your weather report for the 1 p.m. kickoff. I will be live around 12:30 as usual, and we'll get it rolling. And then I'll be out of here probably around 5:30 for that after that game because got to take my kid trick-or-treating because it is Halloween. So that is your weather report for this Halloween in Buffalo. It's a dreary one in Buffalo, but if you've ever been to Buffalo, you know it's the armpit of America, so might as well have the weather line up with it. All right, when we look at the injury report for this Sunday. The final injury report on Friday looks like this. Jerome Baker is on it. His knee's questionable. Noah Benogany is questionable. Greg Mance is questionable. DeVante Parker is questionable. Brandon Jones was limited all week, but he's not even listed as questionable. And then you got Jacoby Brissett, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, all look slated to play. Jalen Phillips, Landon Roberts, Zach Seiler, Tua Tagovailoa, all slated to play. Greg Mance potentially back. I've actually thought he was better than Austin Reeder and Austin Reeder's first performance, but Austin Reeder might get another week just because it's so close. They might want to give Greg Mance an extra week, so Reeder will get an even long extended tryout here. Buffalo Bills, Dawson Knox is out with a hand injury, which is very, very, very meaningful because guess what? Dawson Knox is actually one of their better playmakers. People forget. Spencer Brown, a guy who I loved in the draft, people remember, and a guy who's played really well for them. He's doubtful, which matters because Spencer Brown has actually been one of the better pass blockers on that team. So hey, I'll take it, baby. Anything to help us out, I will take, man. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Spencer Brown, he's been pretty good. He's played over 200 snaps for them this year, but he's out. So, all right. Continuing on, Boogie Basham is good to go. Boogie's been pretty good for them, and then Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders are good to go. So again, a lengthy list of Dolphins on the injury report, just another week and another couple pages of the Dolphins filling up on the injury report. So we'll see how it works out. It's going to be interesting to see. I think they've been playing a lot of zone because of a number of things, because of the injuries to Byron and X right now that they're battling the groin injuries, which is, both of them are on there because of the groin, and I also think because of Rowe's regression, I mean, we've seen Xavier Howard and Byron Jones have to lock up tight ends at times where Darren Waller or Kyle Pitts, but now, Dawson Knox is out, so you don't have to worry about having a huge tight end catching threat up the middle. That is actually a big target for him, but Emmanuel Sanders has been absolutely phenomenal this year for Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and Cole Beasley is a very reliable slot player. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. When you look at the team rankings for both teams in major statistical categories, it looks like this. So offensively, Buffalo right now, guys, averaging 419.3 yards per game as an offense. The Dolphins averaging 325.6. Now, they have had back-to-back games of over 400 yards of an offense, so they're up to 28. That was really low. Passing yards, offensively, Buffalo 8th. They're averaging 280.8. The Dolphins are way up. If you remember how low they were from Brissett when we do this every week, they're now 24th, 227.4. So they're starting to get up there. Let's get to top 15. But rushing yards, they're now out of the gutter. They're 31st. They went from just over 70 yards to now averaging 80.1 yards after that big performance last Sunday. But guess what? Buffalo, they're 6th overall as an offense, 130.7 yards. Points per game, they're 2nd overall, averaging 33.8. The Dolphins are averaging 18.1, which is 29th. Third down percentage, they are the second best third down percentage offense in the NFL. The Bills at 50.0 even for a third down percentage completion. And yet the Dolphins have climbed out of the gutter, guys. You remember under Brissett, we were really low. Now we're up into 14th at 41.9. So Tua, and you've seen Tua has been very effective on third down. So good to see. But here's where it gets really scary, guys. Defensively, how these teams stack up. In yards per game, the Dolphins are 32nd in the NFL. They allow 10 more yards than the Buffalo Bills normally gain as an offense. They allow 429.3 yards per game. Defensively, the Bills only allow 282.5 yards per game, which is first. Passing yards per game, the Dolphins allowing 297.1 yards per game, which is 30th. Guess what? Buffalo is first, only allowing 180.5 per game. So, which makes it even more important that if Tua can ball out, because a lot of people, I saw people try to spin the narrative that the Atlanta Falcons were one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. Well, guess what? If you go back and you watch my previous show from last week, when I did this for Atlanta, they were the 12th overall defense in terms of passing yards allowed per game. The Atlanta Falcons are now the 20th. They dropped 8 spots after Tua Tagovailoa. I'm just saying. They are 6th in the NFL, allowing only 89.7 yards per game rushing, which is only 9. They allow 9 more yards than we gain as an offense. So that scares you. Rushing the football against the Dolphins, they're 19th, allowing 117.7 yards per game. Points per game, they're only allowing 16.3 points per game as a defense, our Buffalo, which is literally, it's what, 1.8 points per game less than what Miami's currently gaining. So that's worrisome. Miami, though, they're 31st. They're allowing 29.6 points per game. It's just bad. Remember, they were the top scoring defense in terms of points per game allowed last year. They were allowing like 18 points, 17, 16 points, fluctuating in that range last year per game. And look at where they are now, 29.6. They're allowing almost 30 points per game. Third down percentage, they are the 5th best defense, are the Bills, allowing 33.3. So a third of the time teams are converting on third down against them, while the Dolphins, guess what? The Buffalo Bills as an offense convert at 50%, second best in the NFL, while as a defense, Miami is 31st in the NFL, allowing 51.6%. So that tells me the Bills are going to be continuously converting on third down against us. I mean, when you look at how some of these line up, it's not good. It's not good. When you line up numbers, how the opposing team's offense does against the defense, it's not good. So, and it works both ways for the Bills against the Dolphins. I mean, it could get ugly, but I got faith. I got faith. I got faith we're gonna lose, but it's gonna be competitive. But yeah, it's not very promising when you see how these teams are stacked up like that by any stretch of the imagination. Not very promising at all. All right, so let's get into my keys of victory offensively, guys. All right. I don't know what else to say here except protect Tua at all costs. Jesse Davis, you better play like this is the most important game of your life. You allowed your quarterback to take that hit last time against them. You need to protect Tua at all costs. We do not stand a chance of winning this game without Tua Tagovailoa. Jacoby Brissett is not going to lead us to victory. To have a chance to even be competitive, you need Tua Tagovailoa to be healthy in this game. That's just a fact. This offense is better with Tua Tagovailoa than it is with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, guys, even the offensive line is better under Tua. Tua is literally elevating players around him. I mean, he's working with, other than Jalen Waddle, basically, again, Jalen Waddle and Gesicki are, now Gesicki is a partner in crime in terms of getting targets amongst a bunch of, 4th, 5th, 6th string receiving core. And he's got an offensive line that just leaks everywhere. At least now it's coming from the guard position a ton because Jackson's there. So you just need to protect Tua at all costs. Listen, you need to build off of last week's rushing performance. I've been saying ad nauseum that we need to commit and establish the run. It's been in keys worded so many different ways over the weeks. They finally did that. Go figure. I mean, you know, I mean, you finally commit to it. You have 29 rushing attempts. You get 132 yards. You get it done. You got to build off of it. I'm not asking for 132 again, but please, for the love of God, flirt with 100, 105, 110. Please. We need Tua in this offense moves better when we're rushing the football. And I know Tua himself contributed to this, and Tua himself is a part of what I'm saying here because I mean Tua, a second week back, second week in a row that he's our second leading rusher, 29 yards. He's got 52 yards over the past 2 weeks. He had only like over 150 yards last week and last year in total. So he's showing that wiggle they told us they didn't have. Tua's got to continue making plays with his legs. Gaskin needs to make some plays. Ahmed's being explosive. He needs to make some plays. So we need to continue establishing the run, keeping teams honest against that run and having to respect it. And that's what helped make third down so efficient last weekend. This team went 7-11 on third down, and that was a big part of it. And another thing, too, here, the third key is win the possession battle. I mean, listen, they won it last week. Having the ball for 34 minutes, 38 seconds, and almost a full 35 minutes. I get you didn't win the game. You know what I mean? I get that. You go look at the Jaguars game. I get you didn't win the game, but again, you know, not only were you efficient on third down for the most part, but you held the ball for almost 33 minutes at 32 minutes 40 seconds. What this is going to allow you to do is not only does it keep your offense on the field and the defense rested, but this takes time away from Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to get into a rhythm and as an offense, and this takes away time for them to make more plays against you. If you protect Tua, give him time. If you rush the football efficiently and you win the possession battle, you can at least make this game super competitive. You can at least make this super competitive. I think a lot of us want to see Tua have a really good game, and we want to see this team be competitive on Sunday. If they win, glory be to the Almighty. So do this as an offense, and I think you're going to be in a position to be very competitive against them. AJ Epinesa is going to be coming for blood, but now he ain't going to be beating Jackson on the outside. Boogie's good. Greg Russo can clean up. Russo's been better than I thought he was going to be. So, just I'm not worried about Ed Oliver, so we can throw around Ed Oliver. Let's get the job done offensively. Do your job, offense. All right. Now, when we sit here and take a look at the defensive keys to victory for the Miami Dolphins, force them to be one-dimensional. I don't care whether it's you take away the pass and you lock down. We go press man. We show the balls we had last year and we lock down. And you take away the pass and you force them to beat you on the ground, or whether it's you force them to beat you through the air because you take away the ground. Make it easier on yourself. Take one of those two dimensions away, because right now, clearly, we just went over it for all of you. You look at them right now, they are number 6 Sorry, they're number 6 in rushing yards as an offense, and they're number 8 in passing yards per game as an offense. Take one of those away, so you only have to focus on the other. Force them to be one-dimensional. Better situational play calling. Listen, we've all been scratching our head at times when the zone, when they've been calling zone, when it's clear they should be running man. Go back to your bread and butter. This defense was built on being predominantly press man, disguising your blitzes and your coverages, and throwing exotics that can confuse. Get back to your bread and butter against this team. Stop on 3rd and 10 running zone and letting the opposite team's best receiver come wide open over the middle because you're not locking them down in what you're doing. Listen, I get everyone's banged up and battling injuries, but on 3rd downs, use your bread and butter. They can tough it out because they'll get off the field if you play it properly. That's why I believe that 2020 defense in the last 2 weeks, they would have made the stops necessary on those field goals in the final minutes of each game last 2 weeks. So, go back to what your bread and butter is and what made you a 10-6 team last year. Everyone wants to know. I keep saying everyone wants to know who's calling the offensive plays. Well, who's calling the defensive plays? Because if it's Boyer, maybe it needs to go back into Brian Flores' hands. The situational play calling on the defense needs to be better. Don't use bad timeouts that let them make adjustments so they can convert or get in a position to get points on you. Better situational play calling on the defense needs to, and usually this is something we've been pointing out for the offense the past 2 years, especially under Gailey. Well, now I'm calling the defense out. Do your job. And turnovers are going to be needed to have a chance to win. I don't care what anyone says. They were how we've had a chance to win the past 2 years with how this team is built. And especially against this juggernaut, we're rolling into the home field of you're going to need turnovers. You're going to need to not only keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands as an offense with the time of possession battle win that I said, as a defense, you're going to need to take the ball out of his hands. Florida Born says, I want our 0-man blitz, man-to-man, everyone up on the line. Flo needs to take control of this D2 and needs to rise to the occasion. I agree with you, homie. But I think turnovers are needed. I think you need to keep them off the field as an offense, and you need to get them off the field as a defense. I mean, I'll even take 3 and outs. Be better on 3rd down. Surprise us all and shock them. Again, the number 2 defense. Sorry, the number 2 offense on 3rd downs. They convert at a 50%. Knock that down to 33. Only let them convert a third of the time. Get that down. Get that number down. 3rd and longs. Make the plays. Do your job, defense. I said the same to the offense. I'll say the same to you. And special teams. I got a special teams key to victory that I've never done before. Don't let Austin Jackson block on field goals ever again. Get his ass off the field. The guy literally cost us 3 points. Like everyone wants to say 2, it cost us 10 points. Well, we lost by 2, and Austin Jackson cost us 3 as well on an easy field goal. So let's get it. Force them to be one-dimensional. Take away the pass or the run so you can focus on beating them in the other key area. Better situational calling, especially on 3rd down and in moments that matter, defense. And especially when choosing to run man as opposed to zone. And the turnovers are needed to have a chance to win, which I truly, truly believe. I think, I know that's a cliche one, but I'm telling you right now, that's what needs to happen. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say. It's the defense isn't supposed to be this confusing either. The defense is supposed to be lock down. And I'm surprised that we're sitting these many weeks in and they're like the 30, I think they're the 30th or 31st ranked team defense right now. Like, are you serious? I would have never, ever in my wildest dreams believed we'd be talking about this. I'm shocked. Like, I'm shocked. And then you look at what they were, you look at what they were built upon, and they're getting away from it, and you're like, what's going on right now? So, I mean, you look at how they were blitzing last year. Last year they were blitzing at 40.8%, the second highest rate in the NFL. Now they're 32.2%, the fifth highest rate. The pressure has dipped because of that. I mean, we had 24.8% pressure rate, which is 11th best in the NFL last year. And now we're 18th best because we're down to 23.2. And their success in man has been, has not been good. I mean, you look at it, if you look at it in 2020, the Dolphins defense was primarily in that cover one shell, on I believe about 196 opposing dropbacks, only second to cover 3, which was a zone concept with one. And then on plays using cover 1, the defense allowed opponents to complete 56.6% of passes for 1,419 yards and 7 touchdowns. And they had 5 interceptions and 17 sacks in cover 1. Through 7 games of 2021 season, the Dolphins defense has already allowed 5 touchdowns in cover 1 and is on pace to allow 500 more yards this year in cover 1. And they've only intercepted 1 pass so far in cover 1 and only have 5 sacks in cover 1. So even when they're doing the bread and butter, they're not performing. The defense needs to have a performance. And Josh Allen, obviously playing him defensively, when to blitz and when to play man to man is going to be very important to know. Situational play calling is going to matter because in 7 games against the Dolphins, Allen has had a ton of success against man coverage. He's completed 58% of his passes with 12 touchdowns and 1 interception against cover 1 and cover 0 against this team. He's completed 83% of his passes, but thrown just 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions against cover 2 and cover 4 looks in zone against this team. So you're going to have to know when to switch it up. It's going to be very important to the success. So defense, there's a ton riding on you coming through this weekend. Just like there's a ton riding on the offense. So my matchup to watch, usually I pick players. Y'all know how it is. Well, guess what? My matchup to watch this week, guys, Brian Flores against Sean McDermott. Now, we all know Josh Allen is 6-1 against the Dolphins, but here's the thing. McDermott is 8-1 against the Miami Dolphins. He just dominates, and he's dominated Brian Flores in that stretch as well. This is going to come down to who outcoaches who and who does the better job. That's what this is going to come down to. This is the coaching matters, and we look at where Tua is in year 2. But I want to say this: we all realize where the coaching is right now, right? If you look at Tua right now over his first 14 games, he has a passer rating of 89.4 with 2,649 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions as a passer in 14 games of his career. First 14 games. In the first 14 games of Josh Allen's career, he had a passer rating of 70.8, 2,581 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. You see what I mean when I say Dolphin fans wouldn't have allowed Josh Allen to get to his year 3 and now continue to be blossoming into year 4? Tua's vastly outperforming Josh Allen as a passer over their first 14 games, and only 12 of those are real actual games Tua played a tangible amount of time in, and he's outperforming him vastly. Just have patience. You know what I mean? Just be patient. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you. If Josh Allen took the leap he took in year 3, and Tua is already playing what he's playing right now through the same amount of first 14 games compared to Josh Allen in those first 14 games, imagine what Tua is going to be in year 3 and year 4. Think about that for a sec. But the rose in the concrete. Everyone's regressing around Tua in terms of young guys that are supposed to be developing, other than maybe Robert Hunt. And I'm not talking about this class. I'm talking about 2020 class. And Tua, it just keeps blooming like the rose up through the concrete, man. So to me, who's going to do the better job coaching? Who's going to get the most out of their offense and their defense? This is going to be, we're going to find out real quick how badly players might be out on Flores. We're going to find out. If this team gets blown out again, oh boy. Now, I do think Tua has a chance to ball out here, because here's another thing people need to realize. The Miami Dolphins are 6-0 on all Halloween games they've ever played. The Miami Dolphins have never lost on Halloween. Think about that for a second. Perfect record on Halloween. So, can they be the spoilers? Because this could very well be a trap game for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, there's Bills fans making jokes on Twitter that they're hitting the bye of the schedule. They're just coming off the bye now, right? And then you look at their upcoming schedule here. I mean, they have the Jaguars next week, then the Jets the week after. So everyone thinks for that winnable game, let's pray that we are that trap game, because I would love it. I would love it. But this is the matchup to watch. This is the one that's going to need to be. If Flores can outcoach McDermott, we win this game. Got to see how the play calling on both sides of the football is, and he's got to get the most out of his players on Sunday to stand a chance to upset this team in Buffalo. All right, now my prediction for this game is simple. If you heard it yesterday, I believe the Dolphins are going to lose, but put up a fight. I got the Bills 37, the Dolphins 31. I pray and I hope I'm wrong. I want to celebrate a victory with you guys on Sunday so badly. But I got the Dolphins just coming up slightly short. So 37-31 is how I see this game lining up. And then shout out to Richmond and Ball Game for being the Rays of Hope, because they chose the Dolphins to actually win. And then from Albert Breer today, if you see right here, guys, pass catchers are already at a premium, and there are a few names out there along those lines. Dolphins, a wide receiver, DeVante Parker, Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram, and Cardinals, Andy Isabella have been discussed. The Saints and Lions are among the teams I've heard are looking for help at receiver. So DeVante Parker is being shopped. I've heard that since the offseason that he was being shopped. I think it's fair to say that the DVP era in Miami might officially be coming to a close, might officially be wrapping up. And, he hasn't been reliable. This is why I've been saying, hey, if you got Deshaun Watson, go sign Taron Armstead and Devontae Adams. If you got Tua, You go sign Orlando Brown, you kick him back from left to right tackle, and you sign Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle, continue to use Mac Hollins, bring Lynn Bowden back, and then build off of that and see what you got. But Devontae Parker is probably not going to be a part of this receiving core next year, and I don't think we're going to get a first, a second, or a third for him. I wouldn't be surprised if it's fourth, fifth, sixth range. You would really, to be honest with you. I might even be conditional based on playing time just because he's been so unreliable. But it would be funny if he ends up on the Saints and he's playing with Michael Thomas. So, but the Saints are going to have to send money back because they're strapped, even with taking on his money. So, DVP, it looks like he's no longer going to be a Dolphin, maybe by the deadline, but I can tell you this, by the offseason, he will not be a Dolphin in 2022 when the opening season starts. So you can put your money on that. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to drop a link for some of y'all if you want to chat with me backstage, but I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate all of you. I hope everyone stays happy, healthy, safe, and blessed. You already know what time it is. It's Fins Up all day, every day. And guys, I will see y'all on Sunday, 12:30. We will be kicking it, and we will get ready for the Bills and the Dolphins, and we will live react to that game. Until Sunday, guys, I hope y'all have a great day. And guys, I will be in Florida next week. Let's have a get together. I want to see all y'all come out for that Texans game. Me, Logan, and the homie Ball Game will be coming down. So I want to see all y'all come out, as many of y'all that can. But appreciate all y'all. Take it easy. And I'll see all y'all on Sunday, boys and girls. Have a great, great Friday night.